Welcome to another episode of The Giant Leap. Today we have an incredible guest joining us, someone who has helped countless people transform their lives by breaking through their mental barriers and stepping into their full potential. He's the creator of Release the Best You, a powerful life transformation program, and his work is all about helping people eliminate stress, self-doubt, and limiting beliefs so that they can create a life they truly love.
Steve Mitchell, welcome to the show.
Hello, everybody. Nice to be here. Good to see you, Josh. Good to see you, Cacey.
Thank you.
Perfect.
Thank you.
So I actually saw you doing a talk at Pool, and really stood out to me was the way you simplify a transformation. You make it feel possible. So we had to get you on the show. So Steve, I've read a bit about your journey and how you completely changed your life, but if we met you 15 or 20 years ago, who would we be talking to?
Wow.
We like to dive straight in at the deep end. So.
Yeah, literally, honestly, a completely and utterly different person. So in 2000, New Year's Eve 2016, I was a borderline alcoholic. I'm in a band. We travel all around the country. We play festivals, we play venues, we go on tours. So of course, with that comes hotel rooms, after show parties, all that kind of stuff. So it kind of goes hand in hand with that. But the drink was kind of, it was getting too much. I was letting people down, especially my wife. And I remember going back through years, letting my children down on a Sunday because I said we'd go out. And these are things I'm certainly not proud of, but I've certainly learned from them. So yeah, 2016 was the height of it. And New Year's Eve, borderline alcoholic. And on February the 8th in 2021, this is, you said go into the deep end. So on February the 8th, I was sat in my truck on an industrial estate in Bridgewater in Somerset, at the lowest point I've ever been in my life. And I had some very, very dark thoughts. You can probably imagine the things I was thinking. I felt like I'd come to the end of the line. I had no edge to, even though I was surrounded by people that loved me and cared for me, I was so intrinsically in myself, and I just felt that there was no way out. And then on, I think it was January the 10th, 2023, I looked in the mirror and I'm like, oh, this is not me. This is not who I am. I was overweight. I was unhealthy. And I remember playing football with my grandchildren. I've got 4 grandchildren. Oscar, the oldest one's 11. And we were playing football and I was literally blowing out of my ass. And I just thought, mate, you used to be in the army. You used to be really fit and healthy. So I decided at that point, by my 50th birthday, which was the 6th of January this year, I wanted to be fitter, stronger, and healthier. So it's been a combination of a few things that has got me to where I am now. By the way, on New Year's Day this year, it was 8 years since I touched a drop of alcohol. So
wow, awesome.
Mentally, spiritually, I'm in the best place I've ever been in my life. I finally got it. I understood. And being that low helped me to realize that's where I needed to be to come back up. And at 50 now, I'm stronger, fitter, and healthier than I've been at any point since I left the army when I was 24.
That's
so
awesome.
If you'd have met me 15 years ago, you would have probably said, guy's a great singer in a band, but he's a bit of a mess.
What's the band? Do you still play in the band?
Yeah, we're called the Ley Lines. So if you think of Glastonbury and hippies and high energy, it's the Ley Lines. And I'm still in the band. And they were amazing, by the way. I said to the guys, listen, I've decided I don't want to drink. Do you know what? I didn't wake up that on New Year's Day and say, right, that's it, I'm giving up drinking forever, because to me that was a nonsense. To put that limitation on myself, as you'll understand later on, I believe in goals, but to get to those goals, you've got to have small tasks. So to set yourself, for me to say that day, that's it, I'm never drinking again, that was silly. So what I did do is I thought, right, I'm going to do dry January. And if I can get through dry January, that'll be a good start. It wasn't for charity. It wasn't for anything like that. It was just for me. We don't do any gigs in January.
Yeah.
I sailed
Good.
through that. That was no
Yeah.
problem at all. And then we had a tour through February, March, and April. And I said to the guys in the band, I said, listen, I've decided I'm not going to drink on this tour. So please help me. Don't offer me any drinks, and don't be surprised if I say no. And if other people offer it, and just back me up, kind of thing. And they were amazing, absolutely brilliant. Of course, they still drank. But I did the whole tour drinking honey, lemon, and ginger and water.
Yeah.
And the people, when they would ask me, do you want a drink? And I'd say, no, I'm all right, thank you. Why not? Well, because I just don't want one, thanks. Yeah, but why? Well,
Yeah.
because I don't want one. Why? Have you got a problem? No, but obviously you have a problem with me not drinking. I just don't want to drink. And
We've both been in that situation. So both of us have gone through a similar situation with alcohol.
Yeah, we have a clothing company, and we used to sell at events, festivals, and stuff. So we'd be drinking every day.
Yeah, and it's very strange how people react when you don't want to have a drink.
it really is.
Yeah.
If you said to somebody, if somebody said to you, this is quite extreme, but if somebody said to you, would you like some heroin? You'd say, absolutely not.
Yeah.
Unequivocally, no, I don't want that shit. But then if they say, do you want an alcoholic drink that's going to ruin your mindset? It's going to ruin your health. It's going to ruin your insides. And you say no, they go, surely, why not? Why would you not want this poison?
You must be an alcoholic.
You must be an alcoholic.
Exactly. And this is the thing.
drink.
And I used the term when I said back into that I was a borderline alcoholic, because personally, I don't know where that line is to become an alcoholic. In my mind, it's somebody that needs alcohol to function every single day. And I didn't. That wasn't me. But what I was I was the FOMO guy, the YOLO guy. I was always having to be the last one to leave the party because I thought something amazing. Nothing ever happened. Ed Sheeran said this, nothing ever happens in a kitchen after 3 a.m. But we still find those idiots chatting at 5 a.m., 6 a.m., setting the world to rights, thinking that everything's... It's not. And it took me a while to figure it out. And it was just like, and also as well, a lot of the time I was hanging around with people that didn't have the same responsibilities with me. They weren't married. They didn't have children. And towards the end, grandchildren. So, but yes, in answer to your question right back at the start, Josh, if you'd have met me 15 years ago, you wouldn't have seen this guy. Absolutely not.
Incredible. What a transformation, because we know what's coming. So, yeah. So I believe you've built a farm. You just mentioned a doggy daycare as well to me. I'm a bit in awe of this. So it sounds like you've designed your ideal life, and now you help others do the same.
Absolutely, yeah.
So tell me more about that.
Let's go all the way back to the start. My wife and I have been married for 33 years this year. We have been up and we've been down. We've been left, right. We've been absolutely penniless, and we've been okay comfortably. We never had any education to speak of as such. We both left school with no qualifications. My wife was a trainee hairdresser and I was a trainee chef. So fast forward 30 years, it took us a long, long time to buy our first property. And when we did, we were both self-employed. We had no deposit. And back then you could do self-certification. So we had no deposit. We had no provable income. We were literally just right at the very bottom. We took out 100% mortgage on an interest only on a council house that we were in. And we were both working 2-3 jobs each. And we were paying something like £750 a month, interest only on a £70,000 mortgage. If the viewers know about mortgages, they'll know that is insane.
Absolutely. I was here going, why?
But it was the only way we were going to get onto the property ladder. So we did that, and then we did that house up, and then we bought another house, and we let our daughter rent that one, and we went through other things. But 5 years ago, my oldest daughter is married now with 4 children. My youngest daughter is now an accountant, and she's with her guy and her fiance, and they're doing great, and they've moved out. So when my youngest daughter Shannon came to me and said, Dad, me and Luke have found a house, we're moving out, I said to Donna, okay, let's get out of here. Like, we're in a 4-bedroom house in a semi-detached in a road which is full of cars, and the parking's getting hard, all this kind of stuff. And Donna literally said to me, and this is what happens when you say something to Steve. Donna went, I'd like some land. if we're going to move, I'd like to buy a field where we can walk the dogs and do the doggy daycare thing. And I said, okay, no worries. Long story short, this property that we're in now, it found us. I honestly believe the universe sent this house to us. However, we did manifest it as well. We believe in vision boards. We believe in the law of attraction. We believe in all this kind of stuff. So the universe gave us the opportunity, but we saw the magic. I'll go on to that later, but we saw the magic and we took that opportunity. So 5 years ago, I looked onto Rightmove. I put in our sort of, the lowest and the highest sort of thing. Second property down, I was like, Donna, I think I found the one. And it was an aerial shot of this little bungalow in the middle of nowhere. There was no other properties around it.
Oh, amazing.
Long story short, we got here. It was overgrown. The barn and the stables were derelict. And the house was stuck in 1955. It was horrendous. However, when you watch like the film The Matrix, this is the only way I can explain it. And Neo is stood there and he needs a weapon. Then all of a sudden, all these avenues of weapons come up, don't they? And it's almost like he's had this vision and an epiphany. That's what happened when I stood here. When we first came here, I saw the end thing. And I don't know if looking back now, that was probably conscious manifestation. It was kind of me thinking, I can do this. We can do this together. We can take our business from where it is now and actually explode it. Now, this is where the self-belief comes in. The mortgage here was 5 times more than we were paying in the other place.
Oh, wow. That's so much more, isn't it?
It was scary, but I also believed that we had the potential to earn 10 times more income. So was it worth the risk? There's only one way to find out. And that was literally it. It was like, okay, we've got to redo the whole house. We've got to recondition the barn, the stables, the land. Anyway, a little snapshot onto my wife's vision board a couple of years ago. She put on her vision board a little thing. It was a football field. And she put on there, what is 10 acres? And the thought was, eventually we'd like to own 10 acres land. Let's start with a small football pitch, but eventually we want to get to a football pitch at 10 acres. So when we moved here, the first day we were here, so we bought 1.5 acres of land with a bungalow, a barn and stables. The first day we were here, the back of our property backs onto a 16-acre field, which is part of an equestrian centre right over the way. The first day we were here, the owners were walking past. They said, oh, hi, guys, have you bought the property? We said, yeah, we're just moving in soon. The next thing she said, if you want to buy any of this land, let us know. And we were like, and then we said, how much would you sell us? She said, well, we're getting a bit older now. We don't need it all. We'll sell you a 2-acre strip across here if you want it. And we were like, yeah, we'll do that. Yeah, because we'd sold with the other house. We'd made money on the other house. We'd set aside enough for refurbishments. And it was like, yeah, we can do this. So we bought that 2 acres. And I was very, very shrewd when we bought this property, because although we had paid for the 1.5 acres with the bungalow and the rest of the buildings on it, there was also a 3-acre field across the road that they were selling separately to this property.
Yeah.
I managed to get them to throw that field in with the sale.
Oh my gosh.
But it wasn't mortgaged. So that's the thing. So we bought the house and the land, and then they threw that field in. So we came to see a property with 1.5 acres. We now have 6.5 acres. So still not quite the 10, but we're
not quite 10, but you could get to the 10, because I'm sure the people at the back would sell you a little bit more eventually.
We will. There is so much land around here. We will get to 10 acres. So the thinking behind it was, when we arrived here, I said to Donna, we need to change our way of thinking. This is the opportunity we've been waiting for. And I don't ever want to go to work another day in my life. So we need to manifest something here which creates a lifestyle that attracts money to us. So if we don't want to go anywhere, and by the way, Donna sometimes doesn't leave this place for 3 or 4 weeks on end because she doesn't need to.
Yeah.
we need to create something where the money comes to us. So again, we'll look on this in a bit, but people come here to bring their dogs for daycare, for home boarding, for grooming. They come to walk our alpacas. They come to buy our honey. They come to buy our eggs. They come camping in the summer. So all these incomes come into us, and we don't actually need to go out and do anything. And that was the dream. That was the dream and the focus. So then we just set about doing it. Obviously, crazy COVID hit. Everything was shut down. I couldn't go off and do any gigs. So I now had money in the bank. I had time on my side, and I picked up the skills through doing 1,000,001 jobs through my life. I picked up the skills that I needed to convert the barn, which is a 100 square meter barn, converted that to a doggy daycare center. Then the 3 stables, I converted one to an office and one to a grooming salon. And I swear, Cacey, right, this is the honest truth. I said to Donna, right, when COVID, I hate saying this, but it's true. COVID was the best thing that could have happened to us personally. And I say that with so much empathy for other people, because I know that it affected people a lot of ways. For us, it was almost like the universe went, right, Steve, I'm just going to press pause. I'm just going to pause the world for you. You get in there and do what you do. And I swear, 3 days after I said to Donna, we're good to go. We're good to open. The universe said, right, I'm going to press play again.
Yeah.
Lockdown was lifted and we were open for business. And I was like, thank you.
It pretty much was the same for us, wasn't it? It was. But, you know, yeah, it is, because a lot of people, it's a hard thing to talk about, because for a lot of people, they lost family, they lost loved ones, and it was a really hard time. And there was a lot of depression in the world. But it was also, you know, for us, we'd got a 1-year-old child. And instead of me and Josh having to work and not spend time with her, we had an entire year of her life.
And it was the best weather that we've had.
Where we could be in our garden.
You know why?
With our baby.
You know why? Because there was no planes flying over, spreading all that stuff. Let's not go down that route, shall we?
Let's not. Yeah, let's put our tin hats away for this podcast.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
I was loving how, like, the house being overgrown and stuff is kind of like an analogy for life transformation in itself. Absolutely. It's great that you had to work through all that, but you're working on yourself at the same time.
This is the thing, mate. At the end of the day, I know, you know, we're all in weeds at some point, and you know, it's cathartic, taking out the rubbish, cutting the garden, pruning the hedges, whatever it might be, exposing those new roots, exposing all that. It's cathartic. I don't care who you are. And for me, yes, it was hard work, mate. Trust me. I was out there at 5:30 in the morning in the snow. I was out there at midnight on some crazy ladder sort of scaffold thing that I'd set up in the pouring rain. But it felt good doing it, because I knew that we were moving forward. We were progressing. And this was our dream. I was building our dream. Yeah. And this ties into everything with, you know, at the end of the day, and I know I'm Captain Cliche, by the way. And the reason I'm Captain Cliche is because they work. They stick around and they're there for a reason. And you know, a dream is only a dream unless you have a goal. And it's that simple. You can dream all you want, but unless you set yourself a goal, you're never going to achieve that dream. So for me, it was like, okay, I know what the end goal is. I know what I need to achieve. So I'm going to set myself these little tasks, and the dream will become real. And I kept that in my mind when it was freezing cold, when I was soaking wet. It was like, keep going, Steve-O. This is going to be awesome. And if I'm honest, being truly honest, looking back, I can hardly actually remember doing most of it. I only see the finished project now. So
yeah, you get to reap the rewards.
That's exactly
and the goal and the steps is kind of like, you wouldn't go somewhere that you don't know where you're going and then not put on your GPS, would you?
Mate, that's one of my favorite stories, when I say to people, listen, if you don't have a destination, you're going somewhere, but you're going nowhere, because you don't, you know, if you get in your car and just start driving, you're going somewhere, but you don't know where. So when you put the sat nav in, you might go left, you might up, down, you might go through road closures, detours, but at least you know where you're going. And the trick of life, the most important trick in life, is to be flexible. and just go with stuff, because if you fight against the tide all the time, you're going to get swept away. If you push against something that's pushing too hard back, you're going to move backwards. You've got to be flexible, like Bruce Lee says, flexible like water. At the end of the day, if you keep moving, and as long as you keep moving, that's the other thing. And that was the same with me. It was like, right, okay, I know where I'm going with this. Yes, it's hard. Yes, I'm cold. Yes, it's wet. Oh my God, we're running out of money. Let's refigure it. But do you know what? That end destination, that kept me going, man. And by the way, the risk paid off. We've never missed a mortgage payment, and we're good. Everything is good. It could have been completely the opposite way. And by the way, I'm very maybe I shouldn't admit this, but I don't really calculate the risks. I don't sit down and go through the books. I just look at it and think, can I do this? Really, can I do this? And if I can, then I'll start and I'll figure the rest out along the way. And by the way, we did run out of money. Bank of Mum and Dad helped us out. Friends came in to help us. We still believed. We still believed that we were going to do it, and we did.
We always think if you just go in and think like if you fail you learn, if you win you win, like
mate, you can't learn if you don't fail, can you? And that's it.
That's it.
It would have been an expensive failure, I must admit. At least the kids were sorted, so it would have just been me and Donna that was homeless. Well, we wouldn't have been homeless, we'd have just been in a shell. So it was totally worth it. It really
so
was.
You've created a system called Release the Best You. It looks like you've helped so many people transform their lives. If you had to strip it down to just one core truth, the most important thing, what would that be?
Everybody can change. Every single person on this planet can change. And it all comes down to one word, and that is choice. If you choose to change, you will change. I have worked with countless people. Some of those people have come to me and said, I want to change and I want to be a different person. The heart's not in it. First of all, they have to come to me. They have to come to me and say, sometimes it's not about a want, it's a need. I need to change. We all want a car, but if we can't afford a car, we don't get one. But if we need a car because we need to take our children to school, we need to get to work, we'll find a way of getting that car.
Yeah, and that's if the pain's strong enough, then you're gonna make the change.
Absolutely. I always try to help people move towards pleasure rather than away from pain. But absolutely, pain is a good driving factor. I always look at it and say to people, when people say, I need to make more money because I can't afford to do something. So that's moving away from pain. They can't afford to take their children on holiday, which is a painful thing. That's my reason why I need more money. Actually, no, let's look at flip side. I need to earn more money because when I do, my life is going to be this, this, and this. So you're looking forward as opposed to looking back. And does that make sense?
Yeah, it's the carrot or the stick, isn't it? It's like which, or the rat or the cheese.
Yeah,
the cat or the cheese.
The cat or the cheese.
The cat or the cheese. The rat or the cheese. The
but
cat or
that's
the cheese.
It. So I think the biggest thing it's changed. And one of my favorite sayings again is awareness is everything. When you're aware of something, you can change it. If you're not aware of it, you can't change it. So if you are aware that you're living your life in pain or moving away from pain, if you are aware that you're living a life that isn't true to who you are, your values or your beliefs and who you are inside, if you're aware of these things, then you're in control of them. And if you're in control of them, then you can choose to change them or not. And if you don't, hey, listen, we're all individual. It's your life. If you don't want to change, no problem. But
the world will try and hint to you. We've been talking a lot about the feather.
The feather, the hammer,
brick,
and the...
No, the feather, the brick, and the bus.
And the bus, yeah.
So the world will give you...
analogy?
No, go on.
So the world will give you like a little feather, a little whisper in the ear. And if you don't listen, you'll get the brick. And then if you don't listen to that, the bus is coming and you're going to get smashed. And then you got to build back up from the bus hitting.
And then you're literally like, oh my God, I've got
to make a change because there's no other way.
And this is where lots of people get to. They leave it too late.
Yeah.
Bus comes and smacks them sideways. And it's like, oh my God, how did I get here?
Yeah.
It doesn't just happen. It creeps up on you, but you ignore the signs. You ignore
the feather.
Yeah, exactly. That little tickle. It's like, oh, that depression, is it? No, I don't recognize that. That's fine.
Yeah, I'll
Oh, is
take a
this
tablet.
anxiety? Yeah, exactly. I'll mask it rather than curing it. I'll just mask it. And then all of a sudden, like me, sat in that truck in the car park, even though I had great family, great friends, great prospects, nah, it wasn't enough. And the bus hit me. The bus
Yeah.
hit me hard, but it also gave me a bit of obviously the awareness. The awareness was, this isn't you. You are not being true to yourself. You're strong. You're driven. You're passionate. Why are you in this situation now? And do you know what I realized? It was because I had allowed other people to affect me and influence me in a way that was against my values and my beliefs. So do you know what I did? I cut that person out of my life immediately. No apologies, no reasons, nothing. Just completely cut them off, because I had a choice. Do I leave this person in my life and just put up with it and go through it because this person who they are, or do I become aware of this situation and then recognize what it is and then do something about it? And that's exactly what I did. And you know what? That person's back in my life now, but we have boundaries, we have rules, and they're fully aware of those rules. One more, you're gone forever. Sorry, Cacey.
No, yeah, I want to take you back to the moment when you're in the truck, because there's a lot of listeners that will be listening to this and they're in that space, where they're having really dark thoughts and can't see a way through, and we've laughed about taking medication, but for some people medication doesn't work, or they don't want to take it, or they just feel like nothing is helping them. What in that moment made you be able to change your life? What was it that actually for you made you go, hang on a minute, this isn't what I want?
Okay, so we all have things that we have to live for. I've got a wife, I've got 2 beautiful daughters, and I've got 4 amazing grandchildren. And the thought of me doing what I was thinking of doing and depriving them of the enjoyment of us growing older together and my grandchildren, it was just get emotional.
Yeah, I can imagine.
That was enough to change everything. You can still see how it affects me now. And this is my driving force. This is what keeps me going on my journey, because I can't believe I came so close. I can't believe I let myself get to that point. But even at that point, even then, it doesn't matter what I would say to my wife, my children, or my grandchildren. This was down to me. This was in here. I was the only one that could change who I was and what I was. And I go back, take you back to the first time I ever had an awareness and a realization of why I needed to change. Years and years ago, probably about 15 years ago, I did my master practitioner's course of NLP.
Yeah.
I went to, it was a 2-week residential course in Manchester. Every morning we used to start off with yoga, and it was just, and we would just sit with ourselves and we would meditate. So we were told when you go on this course, listen, you are going to have an awakening. You are going to have an absolute meltdown, because you cannot expect people to go there unless you've been there yourself. So at some point along this journey on the 2 weeks, you are all going to unpack all your crap and you're going to have a breakdown. So we're about 5, 6, 7 days in, whatever it was. We've been doing the yoga every morning. We've been doing all the practicing. We were learning hypnosis, all these kind of things. And this one morning, day 6 or 7 or whatever, everybody else, by the way, had their epiphany by this point. And I was looking around thinking, well, when's mine coming? I'm doing all the stuff, but I don't get it. I'm watching these people literally breaking down and crying. And I've never wanted to break down and cry so much, because I'm like, I need my breakthrough. I can't progress unless I break through. And there was a lovely Polish lady called Marta. She was taking the yoga sessions, and we were listening to a piece of music, and that piece of music is called "I Am Bliss, I Am the Light of My Soul." And that is my mantra now. I listen to that song every single week.
Beautiful.
The song was playing, And she said, I want everybody to wrap your arms around yourself, and I want you to feel the love for yourself. Holy shit. It was literally like a bolt of lightning just smacked me. And I broke down in tears. I fell to my knees, and I'm just like, I don't even like myself. How can I love myself? I don't even like the person I am. And I'm not a bad person. I'm not a bad person. I'm respectful and I'm loving and I'm caring. Oh, this is about me. It's not about everybody else. I just don't love me. I'm holding on to too much stuff from the past that makes me feel that I'm unworthy or my self-worth. So that was down there. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Once I'd had that, it was like, right, let's get to changing this stuff. Let's start to working. And that's when that process all started. But it wasn't this. Listen, it's a movable feast. The more you learn, the more you want to learn, the more you move forward, the more you change. Like I said, even so close to I've up until my 50th birthday, I've lost 3.5 stone. I'm fitter, stronger, healthier. And I'm still learning now. Even now, it's like, okay, what's next? What can I learn next? How can I move forward next? I want to share this with people. I want to help people, and I want them to have the epiphanies, the breakthroughs, the meltdowns, and the realizations that I've had,
What an incredible story. Thank you so much for being so honest there as well, because that is hard to talk about. So I really appreciate that. I do want to ask what the secret is, because you're 50, you've got grandchildren, and you look incredible. So, what is that secret?
Self-awareness and change and just knowing. So I said it again, awareness is everything. And by the way, I still get stressed, I still get angry, I still feel anxiety, I still feel guilt. As you see that, I still feel all these things, but because I'm now aware of the process, I can change them. So when I started feeling sluggish and I started feeling overweight and unhealthy, I knew that I needed to change. I needed to do something about it, but I knew I couldn't do it on my own. So I signed up with a personal trainer. I'm still with that personal trainer nearly a year on. I see him twice a week, every single week. I get my lazy ass out of bed at 5:45 in the morning, and I get to that gym for 6:45. I do 15 minutes cardio, and then I do an hour workout with him. This is the thing, guys. Every single week I wake up and I think, what can I say today? What reason can I say to not go there?
Yeah.
I literally did that yesterday.
If you want to level up in any area, do you think having a mentor, like a personal trainer, someone that's done it before, is important?
1,000,000%. Everybody on this planet should have an accountability partner. Now, whether that is a coach, whether it's your husband, your wife, mum, dad, best friend, it doesn't matter. I believe my wife is the best accountability partner.
Yeah, mine too.
Because when I'm being a knobhead, she'll tell me. But likewise, when I'm doing well, she'll pat me on the back and tell me.
Yeah.
And we've been married for over 30 years, so something's working. But also as well, look, a doctor doesn't treat themselves. They go and see a doctor. A coach has a coach. So my coach, Kieran, he's 28. He's a bodybuilder. He's got a coach, and his coach has got a coach. And, I don't like the term life coach. I'm not really a fan of the term life coach, which is why I'm a life transformation expert. I don't know why, but it sounds a bit fluffy.
Yeah, I don't like it either. I'm a success coach. I don't like life coach. Similar thing, it'll be, but it's just.
The thing is, I'm not going to coach you through your life. I'm going to coach you to transformation. I'm going to walk you hand in hand through your transformation. And then at the end of it, if you want, I'll be your accountability partner. Why did you not do that? When are you going to do that? What do you need to do that? Let's do this together. Do you know what I mean? So, so the trick to being so good at 50 is awareness. And by the way, I had a conversation with my mum and dad. I love my mum and dad dearly. They're both in their 70s. They're both disabled. A couple of months ago, I was sat with my mum. I went to see them. Mum's like, holy crap, you look amazing. You look really fit and strong. And I said, thank you, Mum. I appreciate that. And she said, oh, you know, why are you doing this? What's changed? And I said, look, I love you and Dad more than anything in the world. And you are both teaching me the most valuable lesson you've ever taught me. And my mum was like, I'm not sure where this is going.
Yeah.
And I said, look, Mum, you're 73. You've got a stair lift to get to the toilet. My dad's 71. He can't get to the back door without crunching and creaking and moaning. I said, I thank you for this, because when I get to 70, my worst nightmare is ending up like you guys. And I mean that with all the love and respect in the world. But you are now teaching me that if I don't start now to build stronger muscles, it's not even about my bone structure. It's about the strength and the muscles around me, so that when I need to go to the toilet at 70, I can run up those stairs. When I want to lift my great-grandchildren up in the air, I can lift them up. I can play football with them. I want to still travel with Donna. I want to go around the world. And if I don't do something now, remember we said about the goal, the final goal. Have you seen the film? It's called Red One.
Oh, I think I have, but I
can't remember.
So it's a Christmas film, and it is The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, and he's like the right-hand man for Santa. Viewers, do me a favor. When we finish this, go away, look up an image of Red One, look at Santa, and that's what I want to be. Santa in that film, he hasn't got a big belly. He's literally ripped. He's like, he's obviously in his like mid-70s. And I'm like, that's what I want to be when I'm his age. And by the way, I think the most important thing, well, not most important, but it is very important. We all need to have a purpose. Now, some people don't subscribe to that, in the fact that you don't need a purpose to get out of bed in the morning. I disagree. When you have a purpose and you have awareness and you have a direction and you have goals, that purpose will keep you going every single day. When everything else is failing, when you stop and you sit with it and you think, what is my purpose? It will keep you going. Now, my purpose is to give myself the best chance of living as long as possible to see my youngest grandchild grow into an adult. My second youngest, Evie, she's 4. I want to be at her wedding. I want to play music at her wedding. I want to see my youngest grandson, Oakley. I want to see him pass out in the forces, or I want to see him get his university degree, whatever it is. That is, of course, there's byproducts of that. In doing that, I'm going to spend the rest of my life with my wife, and we're going to live longer and healthier. I'm going to get to see my daughters grow into old ladies. You know, we joke about it, the fact that when I'm in a nursing home, my oldest daughter's probably going to be in there with us. So that my driving factor is I want to be fitter, stronger, and healthier, so that I can see. Now, I could die in a car crash tomorrow, or I could get on a plane and it could fall out of this. I can't control those things.
No, you can't.
I have no control. But what I can control is what I put in here, what I do with these, and what I do with this. And when I can control these things and I'm aware of these things, and by the way, again, I'm not always in control of them, but when I'm not, I'm aware, that then gives me the control. For example, we all know that thing, thoughts become feelings, feelings become emotions, emotions become behaviors. What I started to realize over the years when I was dealing with my anger issues and my stress issues and, you know, worry, I used to worry all the time about everything. So, for example, I was one of these people where I'd get so angry, and hit a door or whatever it might be. I started to unpick that and say, right, what is it that led to that behavior? Why did I punch that door? Because I felt the emotion of anger. So the anger made me punch it. So why was that? Well, because I had the feeling of rage. So the feeling of rage became the emotion of anger. The anger feeling, the anger emotion became the action of punching the door. So what was before that? Okay, it was because somebody said something. Okay, so now I'm aware that they said something that triggered me. And then the chain of events from that was they said something that made me feel rage, which led to anger, which led to punching the door. Now I can do a pattern interrupt. So if somebody says something angry to me, I just go, all right then.
Yeah.
And I look
Take
at it.
a breath.
I know what the outcome. This is what I said earlier. I still feel anger. I still feel sadness. I still feel anxiety. I still feel worry. I feel them because this is life, man. You can't get through life without some sort of pain. But when you understand the process and you understand your reaction and the probable outcomes, that's when you can start to break it down. So this is what I teach people, the Release the Best You system. It's 7 steps for people to recognize exactly these kind of steps. So they understand at the deepest level who they are, why they are, how they are, what they are, and how they perceive the world and how the world perceives them. Does that all make sense?
Yeah, I love it. I
Good.
love it. I want to know more. I'm literally like, oh, this is a really good way of looking at things.
What I thought of was when you get angry and stuff, the funny thing is there probably is, like, take a breath and stuff, but also I like to think, like, if it's making me angry, there's probably some truth in this. I need to go away and think about what that person said.
Again, awareness, isn't it? Again, it's that judging people on your own values. And like you say, most people, when they offload their anger or their sadness, it's reflection, isn't it? You hear what you want to hear because that's what makes sense to you. So again, if somebody is calling me out on something, they're probably right. I have obviously upset them in some sort of way, but then they're also mirroring their own insecurities on me by being angry at me for doing it. But then it raises that awareness of, well, maybe I shouldn't have done that. Maybe I shouldn't have said that. And if I can control it next time, I will. But again, no one's perfect. Nobody on this planet is perfect. Even the Dalai Lama or gurus, no one's perfect. We all have emotions and we have actions, but it's being aware and in control of those.
You talked earlier about magic and about goals, and I would like you to expand a little bit on that, because I'm conscious of the time and I really want to know about that part of you and your program.
So my beautiful wife Donna is a white witch, and we have vision boards. My wife does spells. She has an altar, and she does things like health and wellness spells and manifestation spells and stuff like that. Now, years ago, 15 years ago, it was all bullshit. I was the most cynical person and whatever. But you've got to bear in mind, I grew up on a council estate and no qualifications at school. Then I joined the army. I was a real man's man, and what a load of crap. I didn't believe in ghosts and spirits and another life, all this kind of stuff. Thank God I've got my wife. So 100% I believe that magic exists, but I don't believe magic as in the sense of what you see on the TV. You don't just magic things and they just appear from nowhere. It's about intention and recognition. So, for example, very, very quickly. So on my vision board, one year, about 10 years ago, me and Donna were talking. She said, and we put on the vision board, I said, oh, I'd like a new car. So she said, what car do you want? I said, I don't know. I want a new Mercedes. We had a crapped out old Mercedes. It was a blue estate. And I said, I'd like a Mercedes. She was like, okay, we'll put that on the vision board. So I typed into Google, new Mercedes, first one that came out, print it out, cut it out, put it on my vision board. Long story short, I would say probably 6 months later, and I swear on my grandchildren's life, guys, 5-6 months later, we had a new Mercedes on our drive. And I swear it was the same color, the same make, the same model as the one on my vision board. The only difference being was the number plate on my car was British. The one on the wall was German.
You are never going to believe this. I've got to tell you. I'm sorry.
I do.
You're never going to believe this. So when just before I started driving, I was taking lessons and I was walking past this yellow Beetle every day. I was staying in a different place, like not in my normal place. I was staying somewhere, house sitting. And I was walking past this yellow Beetle every day and I was like, that's the car I want. That's the car I want. I want that car. Fast forward 8 months past my test, you know, living back at home, and a yellow Beetle was for sale. So I was like, oh yeah, that's the car I want. So we went to look at it and it was the exact same car, and it had come up for sale just when I needed it to, and I bought it, and it was my first car.
It found you.
Yeah, so it was very, very similar story. So I just had to sort of
that's perfect.
Get goosebumps, but yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's magic to me. Magic is recognizing and being so open and so aware of these things that when they happen, whoosh, you see them and you grab them. The feather, the brick, and the bus. It's exactly the same analogy. It's like, there's another story. It was like, there's a man on a raft and it's flooded all around. And he says to himself, he's on this raft and he's in trouble. And he's like, God's going to save me. I'm okay. God's going to save me. Helicopter comes along, drops down a rope. He's like, no, thank you. God's going to save me. God's going to save me. Then a guy on a boat comes along. He's like, no, I'm not getting in. God's going to save me. God's going to save me. Guy comes along on an elephant and says, hop on, I'll take, no, God's going to save me. God's going to save me. Anyway, flood came even higher. Guy dies, gets to heaven, says to God, why didn't you save me? He says, mate, I sent you a helicopter, a boat, and an elephant, and you didn't take any of them. It's the same sort of thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
If you're not open to these things, and that's the trick, is being open to them. If you're not open and willing to accept it, you're never going to see it, and you're never going to experience that magical moment. Like, remember I said about the football pitch, what is 10 acres? Now I look out my kitchen window and see 6.5 acres. It's not 10 acres. It will be. But right now, I know that magic worked because we put it out there. We set our intentions. And by the way, you can't just hope for something and it drops in your lap. Like you said, Cacey, you were looking for a car. Yeah. That car came because you were looking for it, but it was also looking for you. So you can't just expect these things to happen. Manifestation, I'm sure you've all seen The Secret or heard of The Secret by Rhonda Byrne. I don't necessarily subscribe to all of that, but on the outline, it is. You have to manifest these things. You have to put it out there. There's a thing called the reticular activated system, which is how we attract things. So if your reticular activated system is tuned to attracting negative things because the stories you tell about yourself are negative, the people, I'm always ill, I'm always tired, you're going to attract more of that. If you change your inner talk and the stories you tell people about yourself, you're going to manifest more and more good stuff. So for example, if I was shallow enough to want a Lamborghini, if I told myself enough times that I've got a Lamborghini and how do I get that Lamborghini? Well, I need to make more money. Okay, so how do I make more money? And if I started to manifest and move my way, I would get a Lamborghini if I wanted one. It just is the way it is. Yeah. But also as well, I think it's also knowing, the magic is knowing when you have enough. And I think you're rich when you have enough. And I think
I was going to ask on that, what is your definition of success? Because I think to feel that feeling that you're talking about, you first have to define what your success is. And so how would you define success?
For me, success is having the freedom to choose what I do with my life when I want to do it. So Donna and I have created this place where we live. We're surrounded by green pastures. We're surrounded by our animals. So we've got 8 alpacas, 7 sheep, 2 peacocks, 2 cooney pigs, 15 chickens, 2 cockerels, 4 hives of bees, 2 Rottweilers, and 2 Bombay black cats. That's our little.
We love cooney pigs.
I know, when you said cooney pigs, we were like, oh my God.
Yeah,
I'm half Kiwi, so they're from
there you go. Perfect, yeah. So my definition of success, I am successful because when Donna and I wake up, by the way, my daughter built a property on our land. So every morning we see our grandchildren before they go to school. Amazing. And listen, go back to when I was a kid. I was from a single family on a council estate. Now I'm not rich, but if you'd have told that kid on that council estate who was always told at school that he was the class clown and that he'll never amount to anything because he can't concentrate on anything and he's disruptive and he has no timekeeping, all the rest of it, at 50 years old, I'm sat on a farm that we built with our hand. We didn't build the house, but everything else. We've put all the pieces together, and now my grandchildren are here with me, and we don't want for anything. We're going to Corfu in a couple of weeks' time, and then in June we're taking our 2 eldest grandsons on a road trip around Canada. So not even on the monetary value, the fact that I'm able to do this with my grandchildren, and the fact that Donna and I, we don't worry about stuff. So could I do with more money? Obviously. Could I do with more holidays? Obviously. But if the universe thinks I am gonna get, then they'll come. If they'll come by natural thing. So my definition of success is having the freedom to choose what you do when you want to do it with your life, and that's pretty much where we are at the moment. And now, let me just put a caveat on that, because I did say earlier that I don't want to go to work another day in my life. Donna and I work harder now than we've ever worked in our life, but we don't go to an office. We don't go to a factory. We don't go to a building site. We don't go anywhere. And the work that we do now is not work. It's a lifestyle. So that's it. We manifested this lifestyle, and now we live that lifestyle, and that does mean feeding all the animals, cleaning the animals out and stuff like that. But I would trade that against an office job any day of the week.
I think that's so important for our listeners, because me and Cacey have designed our life, and we are living, the life that we want to live, and we can choose our own time. And we talk a lot about how we're the only two parents that go to our 5-year-olds things, like, both of us together. Go there. And it's incredible to have that choice over your time. Like, it's
10 o'clock yesterday morning, I went with my daughter to watch my grandson at his little kickers game. Amazing. And it's like, Tuesday morning, 10 o'clock, and I'm sat here watching my grandson play football while lots of other people are slaving away doing whatever. So, yeah, I mean, that's success to me. And don't get me wrong, we're still driving forward. And ultimately, to me, it's like when we look at retirement and we look at our future, again, success for me is when because we run the doggy daycare center, we do everything we do. When I get to 60 years old, so 10 years, my clock is now ticking to 10 years. At 60 years old, I want the freedom to say, we don't need to go to work today. We don't need to earn money today. If we want to go traveling around Canada for 3 months, we're going to go traveling around Canada. That's my next my next goal is to have visible abs by the time we go to Corfu in 5 weeks. So again, my original goal was to be fitter, stronger, and healthier on my 50th birthday. And on the 6th of January, my 50th birthday, I wanted to wake up, look in the mirror and say, you look better than you did at 40. I smashed that because I look better than I did at 30, because at 30 I was a drunken musician who was overweight and bloated. So now,
but if you're forever moving the needle just slightly, and you do that for the rest of your life,
absolutely, the goal is only the goal until you get there. When you get there, you set the next goal. Listen, I don't like using these guys as an analogy, but Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, I know that's a horrible name right now, Richard Branson, all these people, they didn't get to where they are. And I'm not a capitalist, by the way, but they didn't get to where they were by hitting a goal and going, that's it, I'm fine. The difference being between me and them, apart from that financial universe of distance, I've got enough. And that, for me, that is enough, and I'm okay with that. Could I? Yes, I would like more. If I deserve it, it'll come. But those guys are so driven. It's never enough. And I think that's quite sad, because you're in perpetual chasing something that you're never going to get.
Yeah, you might not have heard this, but did you know that $1 million, or let's say £1 million, is like 11 days,
35 years.
Yeah.
It's
$1 billion.
Insane.
Insane.
But then I look at it again, I think, if I had 10 million in the bank, how much more do you need?
But then you could help a lot of people.
Exactly. And we were talking about this the other day, and I was saying to my mum and dad, I said, listen, if I had £1 million in the bank, I would never have to spend a penny of it, because I'm so complete and happy that we would live off the interest, man.
Yeah, exactly.
We would invest it and make more, that way. But, Cacey, do you want me to run through the what release actually means? Because I know we're getting close to time.
Yeah, we're getting really close to time. I am. So yes, if you could, that would be brilliant. Because I am very aware. I think we've got about a minute left. So squeeze in what you can, Steve. Go for it.
Release the best you. Think of the word release. RELEASE. 7 steps. First step, recognize who you are. What makes you angry? What makes you sad? What makes you happy? What makes you feel joy and excitement? Evaluate your situation. So once you recognize who you are and the type of person you are, remember we said about the thought process. Once you recognize that, what are the things in your situation, in your work life, your personal life? What are those things that cause those reactions? So the big pile of letters at home that causes you stress every day, that person that makes you feel angry just by being there or talking to you. So recognize who you are, evaluate your situation. Once you know these things, then the next step is learn to let go. Once we understand why we react the way we do to the things that we react to, we learn to let them go. And that might be a person, it might be a job, it might be a situation, it could be anything. But unless you let them go, you're never going to move forward. And at that point, you should understand who you are as a person. So you've learned to let go. The next one is expect the best at all time. Positive thinking. How can you move forward if you don't expect the good things? I used to live my life by the saying, expect the worst and anything else is a bonus. That is the worst mantra for living ever. So now I expect the best. The next one, A, is allow yourself to be great. Give yourself permission to get rid of all that crap that doesn't belong in your life. You deserve to be the best version of yourself, but you won't get it unless you allow yourself to do it. The next one is set yourself up for success. Josh, you hit the nail on the head. What is the definition of success? You need to know what your success is before you can then start moving towards that success by setting goals, giving yourself aspirations and defining what your dreams are. I don't think I'm missing that. And then the last one is expect the best at all time. Engage your future. So once you've learned all this, recognize who you are, evaluate your situation, learn to let go, expect the best at all times, allow yourself to be great, set yourself up for success, engage the future. And this is where the accountability partner comes in, because to engage your future of the new you, the best version you've created now, you have to make sure that you stay on track. So it might be diary, it might be journaling, it might be checking in with a coach every week, it could be anything. But if you follow those 7 steps to release the best you, you cannot not change. You will have changed by the 3rd step because you'll be more aware of things. You'll understand why things happen. But more importantly, you'll now have that awareness to be in control of them. So you're able to change them.
Absolutely love that. I love that. And so I wish we could delve more into it, but we can't.
No, if people want to find out more, where do they find you?
Okay, releasethebestYou.com. They can find Release the Best You on Instagram, and they can also find me on Facebook. So I'll send
it all in the show notes.
I'll put it in the show notes.
We'll put it all in the show notes.
And
so they can get hold of it.
I hate saying this, my DMs are always open. I'm always happy to have a chat with people as well, because sometimes I think you need to pay it forward. It's not always about money. Sometimes people can't afford it, but they still deserve the help and the guidance. So I'm happy to have a chat with anybody.
Honestly, it has been amazing. I wish I'd got more time with you today. There's so many questions we didn't even get to ask. It has been an incredible. We
should do part 2 sometime.
We should do part 2 for sure. But lovely to speak to you, and thank you so much for coming on the show.
No worries. Thank you very much, guys. Enjoy the rest of your day.